All righty, what is up, guys? This is Billy Lewis with ScareNetwork TV. We are live with Ryan Jones
Hello.
of the Cabin on 360 and his freaking awesome podcast show, correct?
Yes, the freaking awesome paranormal show.
Yep.
Tuesdays at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, so when everybody is done with this, go and check out Ryan's show. Where can they find your show at, Ryan?
We are on the Rift Nation Network. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube. Just look up the freaking awesome paranormal show. That's freaking with no G. Awesome paranormal show on Facebook and YouTube. And join us. Join the chat. Ask questions. It's a lot of fun. We enjoy our chats.
Nice. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your involvement with the cabin and the history
Oh,
and all that good jazz, if you would.
well, my name is Ryan Jones. I am investigating the paranormal since 2013. I joined All Seeing Paranormal Society with Howie Odell back in 2012, 2013. And then after that, I joined Commonwealth Researchers of the Paranormal with Dennis Eslock. Now, I had been told the story about the Brick Rancher when I was a kid. I was at the dinner table with my dad, and he was talking about stuff. And I don't know where the conversation went or how it got to this point, but he was telling me about the time he had been called out to the Brick Rancher in Mechanicsville for a young girl who had been shot and killed. He told me that my grandfather had sent two workers out to do some work behind the house, and when they got there, they found a refrigerator box. And when they went to move it, they found the body of a young girl. So they, obviously freaked out, and they called my dad. And my dad back then, uh, he was the only one at the office at the time because it was still pretty early in the morning. So he had to drive out to Mechanicsville. And he said he met up with the police officers out there, and he saw, the little girl's body and stuff. And he said he helped actually move her body from the box into the body bag. And he said it was something that stuck with him, and he tried to forget it, which is, I don't blame him. Um, so fast forward a few years after I joined ASPS, we were looking for places to investigate, and we were bringing on new team members. And I remembered what my dad had said about the Brick Rancher. So I talked to Howie, and I'm like, we have this house in Mechanicsville, um, and I knew the history of it. And I had been in there before, done work in there, empty when it was empty, cleaning up and stuff like that. And I never had any problems there. But I would always, say stuff like, because I knew there was story, and
Mhm.
just being safe side, I'd be like, don't bother me, please. I'm here, just don't mess with me or whatever. But I never had any real experiences. But I'm like, look, we have this house. There was a murder that took place in the house. I don't know if it's haunted or not, but you could try it, and we could do like a team building exercise, and we could teach our new members how we want them to investigate our style, whatever. So we picked a day, and unfortunately, it was a day that I had a family event I had to go to. So I went over there with them, and they had we did like a little class and teach our new members all about the equipment and stuff like that. And I left Howie the keys. I'm like, look, we'll invest, just lock it up when you're done. And he was going to be there they were going to be there all night, just investigate all night and see if they get anything. So the next day, I messaged Howie and asked him, how it went. He was like, it was so intense that they had to take the team out early. They were only there for like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and he said there was a whole bunch of stuff that happened. Like one of the medium got really upset, started crying.
Oh,
Somebody
wow.
got scratched. Another person got pushed. I think Howie said he could see blood on the walls. He was like having a vision of blood on the
Oh,
walls. And it was
wow.
just a lot of stuff that happened. He was like, for the safety of the team, we had to take the team. We had to take the team off. I just canceled the investigation. So I never experienced anything like that. So, but I never really spent time investigating in there either before then. So it was like a year later, maybe a year and a half later, that I finally got Dennis to go out there with me. And I'd have been talking about it for, a few months with him. We'd sit around the fire pit or at his house, like, you got to come out to the cabin with me. You got to come out to the cabin with me. And it just we never got around to doing it until I think it was in May or June. Finally, he was like, all right, we'll go out there. So we went out there, and at the time, I didn't know anything about the cabin, right? It was just the rancher that I knew about. I knew that there was stuff in there, or somebody had experienced stuff in there. I hadn't experienced anything personally in there yet. So we just went to the rancher, and we walked in the front door of the rancher. Again, I never experienced anything. But as soon as you walk to the front door of the rancher, Dennis looks at me and is like, okay, there's something in this house that's not human and never has been. And of course, I don't know how to react to that because, it's, to me, it's still just a house. I haven't experienced anything yet. I'm like, oh shit. All right. So, we walk around the house, and right then it was different than it is now. Cause back then, like where you walk in the front doors are hardwood floors, back then it was all carpeted and very run down because it hadn't been remodeled yet or anything. So it's very musty and dusty and stuff like that because it hadn't been used in a while. Plus it was in May or June, so it was pretty hot, and there's like the AC wasn't working or whatever. So we walk around the house, and we go downstairs to the basement, and we're talking. I don't remember what we were talking about. And he's got those feelings. He's a medium, so he feels stuff,
Yeah.
We were talking. All of a sudden, we hear this scream, blood-curdling scream. We both look at each other, and I'm like, what the hell was that? And he was like, you heard that too? I'm like, yeah. So it was just one scream, and it was in June, but it was May. It was middle of the day. So back then the kids were still in school.
Yeah.
We went upstairs and looked around and went outside, and there was nobody outside. And it sounded like it came from inside the house. So we both looked at each other and were like, oh, we knew right when we heard that scream that we needed to start investigating the house. And so, we started investigating the rancher, doing, pretty much every weekend going out there and investigating. And we ended up being able to get the keys to the cabin, mostly because I knew the code to get in. And so we started using the cabin as our base to investigate, because that was empty. And we started we're like, whoa, we're in the cabin. Do you want to see if there's anything in here? It was more like definitely like a whim type of thing. Like, well, we'll see if there's anything in here. We'll see if there's any, ask questions and started getting responses.
Yeah.
In the cabin too. So like, oh, great. Now we have 2 haunted locations. And like, well, okay, well, let's see. We were investigating the cabin and the rancher, and then our friend John Harris came out to do some, he was actually in the documentary, came out to do some relic hunting. And he was like, do you mind if I go out in the woods and look for do some metal detecting back there? I'm like, sure. What do you think you're going to find? He was like, well, it's the site of the Battle of Bethesda Church. I'm like, okay. I mean, I had no idea that the battle was fought there. And we start getting stuff like different relics, picked up some really cool stuff
Yeah.
in the woods that actually got stolen, which sucks. But we're like, all right. We started like making the trails back in the woods and investigating back there. Well, maybe there's stuff back here too. Maybe we'll get some stuff back here. Of course, we end up getting EVPs and
Yeah.
sounds of cannon fire and musket fire and stuff. So I mean, it's just like, investigate one house. Okay, let's see what the other house does. All right, get stuff there. Okay, let's see what's in the woods.
Yeah.
When we first started out doing this, we had no idea there was anything there, and it ended up being one of the most active locations I've ever been to.
I know, it's crazy. I'd heard about the location for a couple of years because I'm down in North Carolina, so only one state away. But I'd never made it there, and we happened to pick up this other residential case in Suffolk, and so we were like, well, we're like an hour and some change from cabin, and it was open, so it worked out perfect for us as far as going there and doing investigations and getting interviews and all that. But if anyone's out there watching, if you are, give us a wave. No, we're talking about the Cabin on 360 show, 3-part series that the Scare Network has produced. For Ryan and Dennis and others allowed us to go and investigate and gave great interviews, and we got great evidence and kind of meshed it together. And so if you haven't seen it or seen the first part of the trailer, I'm gonna play the trailer real quick. So we'll play that real quick, Ryan, then we'll come back and talk about it.
Dude, that sounded like a cocking of a gun.
Oh my God, dude, I just got the chills. That sounds like a gunshot.
That big loud bang?
It sounds like the body hitting the ground.
Yeah, it does.
We know in October of 1979, Randy actually fired 2 .38 caliber rounds into her chest.
When I was younger, my dad had told me a story. He was called over to the house next door, the brick rancher, and he had to help move the girl's body into the body bag. The Cabin on 360 is a haunted location in Mechanicsville, Virginia.
I've investigated hundreds of locations, and I would say this is definitely the #1 location for activity of all the places I've investigated.
Who was down here with us?
Randy spent a lot of time in the basement. People have been influenced by what's down there in the basement.
Are you making me tired?
Who needs help upstairs? What's the girl's name?
I kind of gave this place the nickname. It's like the trifecta of paranormal energy, because you have characterization to the haunting here, over at the rancher, and then this whole vast area of forest behind these two properties that are tied to the Civil War. There's just spiritual energy everywhere, but it's like 3 locations molded into one.
From a paranormal experience, it really is an experience that, unlike anything else, you're just going to have so much.
I yelled to the house, "All right, mother effer, we need to talk." And that house growled at me.
Wow. Yeah.
All right. So episode 1 is out now. If you are watching and you've not seen episode 1, head over to the Scare Network, ScareNetwork.tv on the web, or download one of our apps, Roku, Apple, Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and watch the first episode. And then episode 2 comes out on this upcoming Thursday at 7:00 Eastern time. And so Ryan, talk to us about you. I think you've watched all the episodes, right? The 3 episodes.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like we did a good job kind of representing what the cabin is about, or just kind of talk to us about it?
I think you did a great job as far as representing what the cabin is about. I think it was being able to, take what you did, what you got, and put it into 3 episodes is pretty amazing. And then intersplicing the interviews and stuff that you did with us was really, really good. I'm glad that you were able to get as much stuff as you did. I mean, a lot of times people will go out to a place and spend a couple
days,
$1,000 and get half the stuff that you guys got.
Not even half.
And consider it to be a good night. So, you see all the stuff you got. And we were talking about earlier about just the frustrations of just trying to build a network or trying to build a location.
Yep.
You see that this location is so active.
It is.
So such crazy stuff, and trying to get the word out about the place. And we definitely appreciate you coming out and putting the word out about the cabin, because it's still kind of an unknown location. When we started this thing again, like we went out there, it was just me and Dennis.
Yeah.
No idea that if there was anything in the location, but through our friends coming out and investigating and public investigations and stuff like that, and finally bringing police people like you guys out, and different teams coming out and filming, we're becoming more of a known location. Slowly but surely we're getting notoriety, and the thing is, when we do these things, we invite people to come out. We're not guaranteed to get
of course
evidence.
Yep.
I could say it's super haunted, and then someone comes out investigates and get nothing. So I'm very happy that you were able to get stuff, and the stuff you were able to get, like that gunshot, was pretty profound, and the stuff that, I mean, I don't want to talk about too much because people want to see the stuff, but watch the show. But just the stuff that being people being affected, like they were in the show. It's happened. I've seen that happen before on multiple occasions, where people just get really angry. Yeah, Chris, that gunshot was insane.
Yeah.
I got the freakiest thing. I've one of the weirdest things I've gotten. We were in Melissa's room, and we was doing a spirit box session, and Dennis asked if the name Randy is significant, and you swear it clear as day, you hear a little girl's voice saying he did it.
Yeah.
And so it's I can't think of the word.
What validates?
It's intelligent hauntings. It's intelligence. It's asking, answering questions. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth the look to take a look at what you guys were able to capture. And not just the house, but in the woods as well.
Yeah, we did very little investigating in the actual cabin itself. I mean, it's really just me and Chris Hammond went up in the upstairs, and we did some EVPs and some spirit box stuff, and we got a little bit, nothing like we did in the ranch or in the woods, but like you said, I mean, you can't force a haunting, and not that I'm a paranormal investigator, but I've shot enough of these things now that I kind of know how it works and the tools to use, and I've been to many locations, and never once have I been with, and much less myself or anyone who's tried to antagonize a spirit or try to force things to happen. I mean, you may use like some trigger objects or something like that, you know what I'm saying? But nothing to get super aggressive. And you know, and I said a lot of this to Dennis when we went live last week that um, I man, we were there. You know, it's kind of like you said. It was June. The air conditioning was not working at the time at the rancher. It was hot. We had been on a 2 day shoot in Suffolk, and so we were all tired. And
Mhm.
I was, you know, really, really surprised at the stuff that we ended up getting. And that tends to happen a lot. Like I put a lot of pressure on myself because, you know, I'm kind of a perfectionist as far as a filmmaker and stuff. And I'm like, man, is this even going to be good? Am I even going to have enough to put 45 minutes to an hour together? And, you know, like I said, never did I think that we'd be able to get 3 episodes out of it. And again, you know, I may have said this to Dennis, but I didn't force those episodes either, man. I mean, you guys gave such great interviews with your stories and past things that have happened there, which is always great at a location. Um, and then that kind of validates some of your evidence and stuff that you get. But um, it was it was amazing, and I cut out more evidence than I leave in. Trust me, there's a lot more there that could have been put in, but then I felt like I would have been forcing it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's one of those things. I still get surprised at the number of stuff that people are able to capture. I'm
yeah,
never expect people to get evidence when they go out to the cabin. I mean, I
yeah,
know it's haunted. I've experienced stuff, but I
yeah,
don't expect people to get stuff because when they do, it's always a nice surprise when it happens. You know, but you go and you could tell like in some of the episodes towards the end, like I think was it Chris?
yeah. The little Chris,
Yeah, you could tell when he was with Sean,
really tired.
he was getting drained.
I know, I know.
Um,
He's I've seen him
that's
fall. I've seen him fall asleep standing up before. It almost happened in this
I mean,
as
plus
well.
you're in the rancher and it's hot, so
Yeah,
you know it's draining going through all the stuff. If I bet you know if you hadn't gotten anything at all, if it would have been just a slow investigation, just nothing
yeah,
getting nothing at all, it would have been extremely extremely rough. Because I know after a while we do our public investigations and it's like midnight
yeah,
and we've been going all night and and towards the end there's nothing happening. You get tired because you're
tired and
sitting in the car
discouraged.
and yeah, and you know it's okay. And the energy kind of goes down once
Yeah,
the spirits decide to stop talking or they don't want to talk. Hey Jimmy, it's a different feeling compared to when it's like super active and like stuff's happening and stuff.
yeah. You know, like we said earlier. I mean, you know, you've been doing it for a long time. You can't force spirits to talk or communicate. Or when I first started filming this stuff, I was really naive. Um, I was really naive, and I was like, man, you know, I'm just gonna go and to this location and this haunted location, and I'll walk down in this basement or this part of this location. I'll just get a ghost on camera.
Yeah, now here, yeah,
Yeah, and it just doesn't work that way.
I know it's kind of like you know kind of redundant, I guess. But you kind of compare it to fishing. You know, you go out to
Yeah,
invest, you go out to a
yeah,
fishing hole, you put the bait on the hook, put it out there. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to catch a fish. But if you don't catch a fish, doesn't mean there are no fish out there either.
yeah.
You know, so it's the same thing with investigating. You ask the questions, put the bait out, put the equipment out there, and see if you catch anything.
That's a good analogy. I've never heard that one about the fishing. That's a real good analogy. The
Yeah, it makes me feel better about when I don't get anything, any kind of evidence. You know,
yeah, but you know what you were saying about about the cabin being one of the just the notoriety needs to be built up. You know, I said this several times with Dennis last week that is always one of my hopes and intentions with going to produce type a professional type documentary video, whatever you want to call it, at a location is obviously, you know, I want to get content for the Scare Network, A, but B, I truly do care about these locations. And that's the truth because they're allowing me to go and kind of not invade, but kind of tell the story of the history of the location and us do investigations and get great interviews and this and that. So um, I want nothing but the best for the for the cabin on 360, man. And I keep saying it, and I don't know how else to communicate it. and
It's tough, man, because
what I was gonna say is it's like if we got what we got in just one night, and again, I mean that's a double-edged sword because there, you know, I know, like you said, there's times people gone there and not got much of anything. But I guess we just went and just kind of hit the jackpot and or not jackpot, but we got kind of lucky and they were wanted to come out and talk. So with all that being said, it's like, man, I want everybody. I hope you guys get bookings where you know your head's spinning because you got so many people coming in and out. You know, that's my hope for the cabin, and it deserves to be that. It is a phenomenal location.
you know, we did have a team come out investigate a few months ago, and they just didn't get anything. You know, they did a video on it, and it was just very slow video, and nothing much happened. And
Yeah.
that's the risk you take. You have teams come out because they can put this stuff out, and it's they're doing the truth. It's not like, you know, we can't blame them.
Yeah.
But I was there watching the documentary, and I'm like, dude, I'm looking at talking, I'm like yelling at the screen, talking to the ghost. I'm like, do something.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just like you don't know with each investigation what you're going to get, and the fact that you were able to get so much stuff, and you know, the fact that you spent so much time on this documentary to help us out and put the word out about the cabin and you know, show your support really definitely means a lot, because, you know, like I said, we need all the help we can get.
Yeah. So Chris Hammond, who played a great or did a great job in the docu-series, he said what I was thinking a while ago. I just didn't want to say it. He said, I think it depends on the group of people investigating too. Some people get better evidence with certain people. I think that's very true too.
I mean, that's true. I mean,
some people are more magnets to the spirits, you know, attract them more. So I agree with that. And then I think intention plays on it too. I think it kind of depends on your intention. I go with low expectations to places like that, you know, and then I more times than not, because I've been to many locations now, but more times than not, I'm like pleasantly surprised by what we end up walking away with, even if it's something that you don't hear or see in real time. That's happened many times. Prime example of that is in episode 2. I'd sent Dennis an early cut a couple weeks ago, and he texts me and he's like, hey, he's like, did you hear that voice around that, whatever, 18, 19 minute mark? I was like, what voice? I mean, you know, it's like I watch these clips hundreds of times. No, I didn't even hear that voice. He's like, well, when Chris and Sean were walking from the front room in the rancher to Melissa's room, they had already just gotten some disturbing EVPs saying kill them or kill them, and then I like to play or let us out to play or to talk. I can't remember. But either way, they were walking to Melissa's room, and you hear a disembodied voice saying, "Finish them," as they're walking to the room where Melissa was killed by her 17-year-old brother in 1979. I mean, that's a disembodied voice. It came out of nowhere. It wasn't any of them, and it's a whisper, and it's really loud. And obviously, in my editing software, I bumped up the volume of it, but it's there. And Dennis picked it up, and thank goodness he looked at it, because I would have completely missed that voice.
Yeah, I mean, that goes to like to show when you watch these videos, you don't know if you're going to pick up on something that we may have missed.
Yeah,
you know, it's like you said, you listening to it, editing it, and going through hundreds of times.
Yeah,
and sometimes stuff gets past us. So it's when people are watching this, they're kind of like on the investigation with us. We don't catch everything.
Exactly. That's happened to me multiple times. Even with finished edited projects, I'll get comments or messages after it's released, and it's like, "Hey, there was an orb in, this time code of the documentary, or there was a mist or something." That's happened multiple times at varying locations and stuff. And it's crazy. I said the same thing to Dennis last week. It's like, more times than not on these shoots, we're shooting with multiple cameras. But sometimes you're like obviously you go in spurts. But if you're investigating for an hour straight, hour and a half, and you're rolling with 2 and 3 cameras, that means, and when you're actually editing this, and if you put it together in a professional manner, whatnot, that's 3+ hours just on one of it. If you're going through every camera, a lot of times I just don't have time to go through it. So I know I've missed a lot of evidence too in the past, just for the mere fact it's not like I have an editing team. I do the majority of the editing myself. So but
it takes a lot.
It is
to go through all that. I mean, I'll do it just for TikToks and evidence to put on Facebook for the cabin, but you still got to watch hours of different like videos and listening to EVPs and stuff like that. And you have a life, it's not like you just sit there and spend hours upon hours like uninterrupted.
I know. We were able to put, was that whose piece of evidence was it that caught, it looks like a nun in the window of the rancher. Somebody shot it from the outside. Whose piece of it? We gave him credit. Dennis gave us the photo, and we gave him credit, the documentary.
Somebody from the Cabin on 360 is listening, so hopefully they can come up with that.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Because that was at the end of,
I think they're out of like Roanoke or something. I forgot the name of the team. They've been out there a few times to investigate.
But that was a crazy piece of evidence.
I don't even know what the heck that is. It's so weird.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah, I know. And it's so just strange looking. It's like, what in the world? And it's so random, though. It's just the fact that it's these two random houses in the middle of Mechanicsville.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a prison or an old church or a sanitarium or anything like that. It's lost. Maybe it's lost. Me, it's lost souls.
It's lost souls. Yeah. But keep on.
I don't understand why it's like that.
That is hold on. I'm gonna upload that picture.
Yeah.
Real quick, just so people can. But that was in episode 1, so it's not. I'm not giving anything away. And then I'd love for people to see what they think about this once I show this picture. Here it is right here.
Yeah, I mean, what the heck? It almost looks like a space helmet with like
or an Egyptian or nun, and it almost looks like they have their hands out of the window and kind of leaning up on the windowsill, kind of looking out.
but you can see like the white of the top is covered up the window pane.
Yeah. So I don't even know how long ago that was taken, but Dennis tells the whole story of that. That's in episode 1 too, which is already out, like I mentioned. But and then the pictures that you gave me.
Oh yeah.
That's in episode 3, so I don't want to talk too much about that. But it was something that one of your friends, I guess, a medium, shot in the cabin. So you can be vague if you want to talk about that. First off, how long ago was that? Do you know how long ago it was she took this picture?
Last year. It was
Okay.
last year.
So not too long ago then.
No, not too long ago. But as far like to not go into too much detail about what happened, because I want to mess up the show. But to talk about her, I had her on the show to her and her husband on the show for an interview, and halfway through the show, she was like, "I have a message for you," to me. I'm like, "Okay, what's the message?" I have friends who are mediums. I never really got a reading from any of them because I just, if there's something, they got something wrong, I didn't want to be the one to tell them. So I just kind of don't get readings from people. So she said, "I have a message for you." So I'm like, "All right, what's the message?" She was like, "I have a woman here with me, and she wanted me to tell you that I was with your sister the whole time she was in the hospital." So my younger sister Blair was in a hospital probably 2 years ago. She had been really sick, and she was like in a coma for like a month, right? And she said, I was there with your sister while she was in the hospital. Now I talked about stuff, I said, "Please pray for my sister," stuff like that. But I was never vague. I was vague. I was never really talking about what happened or what she was there for.
Yeah.
And she said she was there because of her heart, which is true. And she said, "I'm getting a name coming through." And she said the name Susan, which was my mom's name. She passed away back in 2006. Now I never said her name when I would say Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I wouldn't say Happy Mother's Day, Susan, or whatever.
Yeah.
I always didn't really go into much detail about, her name. I never said her name at all. So for her to get that, sister, and Susan is not exactly a popular name. It's not like it may have been popular at one time, but not something you would, call out randomly.
Yeah.
So when she said that, I'm like, holy crap. So that's when I'm like, all right, I would like you to come check out the cabin or the rancher to see what you pick up on. Because if she's picking up on that, who knows if she's going to pick up on stuff when she comes out. So she came out and she got some good stuff. I mean, she sent me some good pictures. I saw some good stuff that she was able to capture.
That was amazing. We won't give it away because it's in episode 3, but I mean, not give it away. Like, you obviously before that had posted it on the cabin's, I guess, Facebook page, and you said people were commenting saying it looked Photoshop, but you kind of getting that whole story on the thing. But that was crazy.
If you look at the picture, and when you're not going to give anything away, but you could see something forming into what she got a picture of. It wasn't like she took a picture and there was something there.
Yeah.
You could see it gradually forming into the whatever it was that she got a picture of. Again, being as vague as I possibly can here, but it's definitely if I had seen it and I just put a picture of just the face or whatever we caught on there, I would have been like, okay, that's obviously, if looking out, like outside looking in, I would be like, okay, that's fake.
Did so we didn't discuss this more, but did that freak her out, or what were her thoughts
I
on,
think she
on
heard. I
what
think
that was?
she basically said that she took a picture. She's like, "Oh, okay," and then went back and went to sleep because she
Yeah.
knew what was there.
Well,
You know,
I meant like the next day when she reviewed the pictures and she
I mean,
was
she was
actually able to see
excited
it.
about getting such a good piece of evidence.
Yeah.
But I think at the time she was basically super tired and looking up, and
Yeah.
she when I got there, she was like, "Oh, I got to show you this picture.
Yeah.
Show you what I captured." She was excited when she showed it to me.
So I tried to do the same thing because you had shown me the pictures, like because me and Tanner, he was the one helping me do camera during that shoot. We slept in the cabin, but we didn't go to sleep. It was like 4:30. But we slept in the cabin in that one area right in front of the chimney and stuff. And then I was up by 8 o'clock. So I didn't sleep much at all. But I tried to do the same. I tried to shoot up in the rafters of the cabin with my phone, and I took like 20 pictures.
Mhm.
And there was nothing there. So
Yeah.
that gives more credence to what she did, or got
I think
captured, as she said.
Well, it just goes to show you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to keep filming, got to keep taking pictures because you never know what's going to pop up. Like the other day, we were out there doing an investigation. It was just slow, nothing much happening. Maybe got a few things with some of the equipment going off, but because we go live every Thursday night out there at the cabin.
Okay.
So on TikTok and Facebook, if we do like, we do like a poll every Thursday to see where they want us to go first.
Yeah.
But last week it was kind of slow. The week before we got a lot of cool stuff, but we had left a K2 meter or a red pod maybe or something like that in the rancher, and me and one of the investigators, we decided to go back into the rancher to go get it. But I had my phone with me, so I started recording.
Mm-hmm.
Walk up, and as she was opening the door, hear a voice behind me saying, "I'm ready, clear as day," as an EVP. But if I hadn't got my recorder out and started recording, just randomly walking up to the rancher, we wouldn't have gotten that. So, you need to take pictures. Like the girl took a picture of the house. She said she felt like turning around, taking a picture, didn't know why, and got that face or that nun coming out the window. If you feel the need to take a picture, take the picture. You may not get anything, but then again, you might.
Yeah, that's crazy. So let me play. I cut a kind of a teaser for episode 2. Let me play that, and we'll kind of talk about that real quick, because episode 2, again, if you're just joining us, episode 2 premieres on Scare Network this Thursday night exclusively on Scare Network. And download our app. Go to ScareNetwork.tv in your web browser. Only $4.99 a month to subscribe and watch this series along with hundreds of other movies. But let me play this teaser for episode 2, and then we'll come back and talk about this, because it kind of goes along with there's some women's voices that we call too, which is crazy.
Then we walk down to the basement, and as we're just looking around the basement, we hear this female scream that just reverberated through the house.
Randy spent a lot of time in the basement.
What happened upstairs? Gun?
There is something there. We have numerous EVPs that back this up.
But when it comes to the rancher, it's such a heaviness. Your equilibrium's off, and that's usually a tall tale sign of some sort of doorway potentially into the spiritual realm.
So when you were talking for a little bit there, like I completely just blacked out. It just felt like I was just standing there.
It sounded like it said kill him, and I'm thinking now what you're feeling. I'm like, was it talking to you to say that, try to get you to feel that to me?
So anyway, the little girl's voice from that SB7 box that we caught down the basement, it said, "Please help," and that sounds like a little 12-year-old girl, dude.
I've
And,
got to. We had Beyond the Badge Paranormal come out, and they did an investigation out there,
uh-huh.
and they're one of those teams where it's like, okay, we're going to come out to the cabin. They booked the cabin for an investigation, and it was between going to St. Albans and I think what the name of the it's a sanitarium in West Virginia. I can't remember the name of it.
Okay.
But they booked the cabin as a kind of a break investigation between these two major Sweet Springs Sanitarium. We had two major places. Now, St. Albans is very active.
Yeah.
Sweet Springs is very active. So they're like, okay, we'll investigate these two houses in Mechanicsville as a kind of a break in between. They told me, and I asked them after they were done how it went, and he was the lead investigator was like, I don't know if my team will ever want to come here again because all the stuff they got. Now they got when they were in Melissa's room, to tie us back to what you're talking about, they got an EVP while they're doing a spirit box session in Melissa's room of a young girl screaming, "Please help me." And kind of goes back to what you captured in the basement. Please help a little girl.
Yeah.
You could tell it's actually hard to listen to.
Yeah.
When you hear it, because you could hear the fear in her voice, and it still blows my mind that we are able to capture the voice of the dead on recorder.
I know.
It's so like exciting just to be able to hear these voices and talk about these EVPs, hearing a gunshot when there wasn't one there.
Yeah.
It's
to me that
basic. Just
I know. To me, that's the most credible paranormal evidence is an EVP, because I've been shooting these for almost 5 years now, and I've done a lot. And you go to a location and you just have a recorder, and you're as quiet as can be, and hopes that there's no cars riding by or planes going on overhead, and you try to be as quiet, and then you just ask a question, pause for 15-20 seconds, ask another question, and then when you get voices back, I mean, even as scientists, how can you explain those voices back? That's, to me, I still can't wrap my head around an electronic voice phenomenon, which is what EVP stands for. So,
yeah, it's really, you can't think of any kind of scientific explanation for it. You could as far as equipment, you could be like, okay, well, it could be faulty equipment. There's ways to debunk that stuff. But EVPs, it's I don't know. I mean, when you're not there, you could, of course, people would be like, well, there's obviously someone saying that in the background.
Yeah.
But those people you're not going to convince anyways. So you really can't worry about them.
Yeah.
But when I did a spirit box session in Randy's room, and you hear a voice saying my N-word coming through on the spirit box, and you're not going to hear that stuff on the radio.
Yeah.
But it's clear as day. My N-word, not something I could share with anybody, but
yeah,
but it's there. It's the truth. It's it's crazy.
It is crazy. So, I know you got to get off in a little bit and do your show. But and we've talked about this a little bit, just about notoriety with the cabin and stuff. What are your personal hopes and goals for the cabin, the ranch, or the woods, for that whole location? What do you hope for that location moving forward?
I mean, I really want it to stick around. I want it to be a place where people can come investigate and learn about the paranormal. We love doing public investigations and having people come out and join us and teach them about the paranormal and paranormal investigating, and teaching the history of the land, being able to preserve the land where the Battle of Bethesda Church took place, and have people come out and join us on the walking trails, and use the place as a way to educate people on paranormal. I think it's one of those, paranormal is definitely getting, with Facebook and YouTube and social media, paranormal is definitely getting to be more of a subject that people will talk about more compared to back when we were younger and stuff like that. And it's great to be able to have a place where people can come in and learn about, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, man. I mean, especially with, the Civil War battles and that took place there, and who knows what happened before that with the Native Americans and early settlers of the United States or America. Who knows what happened on that land, and the surrounding areas.
A lot we don't know about it.
I know, and you probably will never know. But I think, well, you mentioned John Harris being able to get a lot of the relics, even though those were stolen. Dennis told us that whole story last week, which is unfortunate. But I bet, gosh, I mean, there's so much woods back there. I bet you could probably still go find a bunch of other stuff back there if somebody's willing to put in the time and the effort to go do that.
We have people asking to go investigate metal detect all the time.
Do y'all let them?
Yeah, they ask for permission. We go out. We usually get them. We'll get them to give us. We'll give them to give us to keep. We'll keep whatever they find.
Yeah. Oh, that's the trade-off. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, those physical objects, and then I guess just the continued evidence and communication with spirits, because I know when we were in the cabin and when me and Chris Hammond were out in the woods, we were asking specific questions to Native Americans and Civil War soldiers, and we got some direct answers back. I can't remember specifically. It was in episode 2. It was SP7 and EVP, so we got some direct answers back. So I guess just the communication will help learn if you're willing to accept that for what it is,
Yeah.
I'm talking about going back to learning what actually happened on the land and stuff, but man, obviously there's no denying and no doubt in my mind, I mean, about Melissa and that tragedy that happened there, going on like 46 years ago. And that's so sad to me, man. Obviously, I hope she's up in heaven in a better place, and I would hope that her soul's not trapped there. But who knows? I mean, we're just not going to know those answers until we ourselves kind of transition over to the other side. So,
yeah, it's true. I mean, we try to get as many answers as we can. And I know we're not get the secret of life or whatever when we investigate, but the fact that we are able to get responses and maybe give some comfort to her as much as we can. Like I think we got one where she said, I like hearing you talk.
Yeah.
EVP. I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah. There was so much stuff that we got. It's kind of overwhelming to be able to try to digest all of the evidence that we got, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So that's why I encourage anyone to go and check out our series that we produced on the Cabin on 360, and beyond that, I would encourage anyone who is remotely interested in in the paranormal or has an interest in trying to investigate, to please book the cabin on 360 and go and experience it yourself, because again, not trying to beat a dead horse, but I've been to many locations in one 24-hour period. I wasn't even there 24 hours. I got there at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd left by 10 o'clock the next morning. So it's less than 24 hours. So we got a lot done in that short amount of time. But no, definitely, if you have an interest, watch our docu-series first, and or you don't have to watch that first. Just go out there to the cabin, help support Dennis and Ryan and the volunteers and everyone who gives their blood, sweat, and tears to that location, because it deserves it, man. That place is awesome. You guys have done a great job with the upkeep and the management of it, and the way things look and operate, and again, I'm super thankful for you guys allowing us to come out there and be able to do what we did.
Well, we definitely, like I said, we appreciate you coming out there and taking the time and, being able, going through all the evidence and putting out this amazing documentary about the cabin. People want to come investigate, book the cabin, go to www.tco360.com and tco360.com to book your investigation. We're gonna have public investigations coming up here in September, and Halloween season's coming up here.
Yep.
and Christmas, a great gift. Give a gift of an investigation. We are on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. You want to come check out some of the stuff we've been able to capture out there as well.
How did I know there was a kind of a Paracon out there, right, a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
How did that go? What kind of turnout did you guys have for that?
It was nice. It was pretty good for our first, Paracon. We figured out what worked and what didn't work. And I think if we are able to do one next year, we will definitely learn from what we did wrong. But I think we had a good time. Everyone who came out was great. The hosts, the vendors that came out were awesome. Everyone had a good time, and that's all that matters. And I think each year we do it, it's just going to get more and more people involved, and more and more people will come out once we get the word out about the place.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, that's my ultimate goal, is to try and get the word out about that awesome place in Mechanicsville, Virginia. So everyone, go and book that place, tco360.com. Go and watch our series at ScareNetwork.tv. Download one of our apps, and is there anything else, Ron? Any final thoughts or anything you can think of?
No, man. It's just, we're gonna thank you so much for having me on and being able to talk about the cabin and stuff. And go check us out, man. And the more people we get out there, the better. We're doing our best to try to save the location, but it takes money. It takes people coming out and investigating. And that's all we need. We need bookings. That's where we're doing the best we can, but we definitely need more people to come out and investigate it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, and we're going to go live next week, actually, with Chris Hammond and maybe one or two others. I'm not sure yet; they haven't confirmed. To talk about the third and final episode, which will premiere the following Thursday. So then after that, all 3 episodes will be out, and everyone can go and enjoy all of them. But until then, everybody go check it out. Go to Scare Network, check it out. Check out the cabin. Watch Ryan's podcast here coming up soon. And I appreciate it, Ryan. I appreciate everyone who took the time to listen to us yap a little bit tonight.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Have a good one.